Okay, so in I don't want to say unexpected news, but I also don't want to say that I saw it coming either. At least not now, not just yet. It was reported um, last Thursday. Wow, I think my brain almost fell out of my head just now. It was reported last Thursday that Cesaro had left WWE. PWInsider.com broke the story. Shout out to Mike Johnson over there at PW Insider. Full disclosure, guys. PW Insider is a site that I have and intend to contribute to as well. I do more reporting on just live events, things like that, not necessarily the behind the scenes stuff. I certainly don't have the connections that Mike Johnson does, but I want to go ahead and read a little bit from the article here because I like to read from articles and cite sources um, as we go, and so this is going to be a lot of fun. But surprising WWE departure after failure to come to terms on new deal. WWE star Cesaro has quietly exited WWE after his current contract expired. PWInsider.com has confirmed. He last performed for WWE on February 11th, losing to Happy Corbin on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown. So we're looking at what's that? 13 days between the last time he worked and his release. We're told the two sides had been in negotiations but had not come to terms on a new agreement. One source noted that WWE did offer Cesaro an extension on his current deal, but that was turned down. This would be the case of Cesaro's contract expiring, so there would be no 90-day non-compete. That's the most interesting part of this to me, is because that means that he could go ahead and show up anywhere at any time right now. Now, as far as him leaving the company, I mean, pick any number of issues. I mean, what Jim Ross says a lot on his podcast is it comes down to cash and creative, right? He's probably thinking, I'm not being used the way I want to be used. I'm not being paid what I want to be paid. At least I'm not being paid what I want to be paid for the number of days that I'm working, right? Um, you've heard it a lot of times over the years, over the decades. You know, how many days am I working versus how much am I being paid? That's a big part of it. And I think we may end up seeing more of this as time goes on because there is such another big competitor in AEW out there. If a wrestler thinks that they can get more money elsewhere for the number of days that they're working, at least, work to cash ratio, we could call it, they're going to go. They're going to leave. It's just the way it is. Now, I don't think Cesaro goes directly to AEW. I don't think he should go directly to AEW. In fact, he might just end up going right back to WWE. Okay. This could be a scenario like your Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, whichever name you want to use. Gets cut from the company, we talked about this last week, right? Gets physically bigger. So you see a physical transformation for him. Visuals in wrestling, very big deal, very big deal. So once something's visually different, it catches your attention. And wrestling is a very visual medium, and that's what that is. And so, he gets over big with another promotion, an Impact in this example, becomes champion, becomes very popular, and then comes back to WWE and becomes a main eventer and becomes the champion. That could very well be the case with Cesaro. I'm not saying he's going to come back bigger or whatever, but maybe a slightly different look. I don't know. I'd like to see him work in Japan a little bit. I'd like to see him work in Europe a little bit. I think, of course, he's going to be working as Claudio Castagnoli. I'd like to see him inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. I'm sure he will at some point in time. That's a very new thing, though. So, but that'll come up eventually, I'm sure. But whatever he does, I hope he's going to be very successful. I hope he's healthy. I hope he makes a lot of money. Because of the fact that for whatever reason, he just wasn't ever really given the ball in WWE. The only time he really was pushed was when he was in a tag team. And don't get me wrong, those were great tag teams. And he did great tag team work before WWE. But I know, and we as the fans, I mean, we pay attention. We know who we like. And I think it's safe to say, safe to say most of us like Cesaro, Claudio, if you will. And we want to see him in a top spot, at least a more featured spot as well. And I hope that he goes out there and just becomes undeniable. And I'm pretty sure he will. With the level of exposure he has now, especially after leaving WWE and with so many people pulling for him. Um, yeah, I think he's going to do great things, and I'm excited to see what the next chapter is. I wonder if he's going to cool off for a little bit, um, or if he's just going to pop up somewhere else next week, next month. Um, Either way, I'm excited to see. I want to know what you think about it, though. Leave your comment below. Let me know. What do you think about Cesaro? Where do you think he should go? And where do you think he is going to go? Not where you think he should go, but where you think he is going to go. If you're like me, you're a huge fan of trivia, and that's why I wrote It's Trivial 1000 Trivia Questions. Whether you're just a big fan of useless facts or you're starting your own trivia night and you need a resource, It's Trivial 1000 Trivia Questions is exactly what you are looking for, with 10 great categories from music, movies, superheroes, video games. It's all in there. There is something for everybody. It comes in paperback and hardcover. You can get it on Amazon.com or order it from your local bookstore. That's It's Trivial 1000 Trivia Questions. And if you pick up a copy, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at Grant L. Fletcher.